even longer to like talk to that one guy who's like considering transitioning, just questioning it. So I think that's helped a lot. It's kind of a big brother mentorship type of thing. It's not the only thing people want to own. You know, things that they organize, they want to own it. Things that they make, they want to own it. And once you infringe upon that ownership, you know, then like hackles are raised and people are like, but that's my event that I put together, that I organize. And it's like, okay, we have all these people who are trying to help you, and I don't know, it's kind of like everybody just kind of like loses it in the fact that there are different working styles, but we're all trying to work for the same goal. People just approach people, you know, differently and in manners that, you know, mannerisms that are not appropriate, you know, but the main intention was to like help out and to like further on like this trans movement. I think it's amazing to be like on this end of it, to like to be one, the very beginning of my transition, and to be in the very beginning of like transgendered people in general, like making themselves visible and to like I said, take ownership of themselves and say, this is, like I've always kind of had this thing of like dancing in a crowded club. It's like, this is my space, and no one's going to push me around from being in my space. Like I got 24 square inches to like shake my ass, and I know it's crowded, but really, you're not going to knock me around the dance floor. This is what I'm doing. So I'm hoping that the community makes their stand, keeps their space, and just kind of take over the world. Like I find it fascinating that I could be in a situation where, you know, people are talking about trannies, and it's usually male to female, transgendered people that are around, and some little comment will come up, and I'm sitting there going, you have no clue who's in the room with you. You know, just because someone might be obvious, someone's in the, I would say, the women have a more difficult time passing, especially in the beginning of transition, that for someone to make a comment about them, I kind of have to like laugh and be like, this person has no clue who they're surrounded with. And that's kind of how I feel the transgender movement will like happen. Like, no one's really ever gonna know who's transgendered unless, you know, they go to the trans march, they go to the transgender job fair, or, you know, specific events that's gonna be catered to transgender people. Transgender in that umbrella is gonna be undercover. It's gonna be like incognito. It's almost like you really never really know who is a Mason unless you know the secret handshake, you know, and by looking at someone, you can't tell whether or not they're deaf. You know, so it's going to be like, I don't know if that's a trans guy. Like, I guess the whole notion of clocking T will, like, disappear. But right now it's kind of fun because, you know, we're all in search of who's like us. This link of commonality of, regardless of how I identify or how I look or what I'm doing, it all matters. You know, to not break it up in pieces. And I think as individuals, the type of power that we have within ourselves to identify as transgender and to live as transgender people, whether you're stealth or you're out, you know, there's a lot of internal turmoil that goes on in being a transgendered individual. But our lifestyle doesn't have to be in turmoil. So whatever we can do to change that, I think it would be for the best. Well, it's scary to be out there. Like I haven't done a tranny march because it's kind of scary for me. Not identifying as transgendered, but being in a large group that's say if it wasn't in San Francisco, could really be victimized. You know, like there's a safety issue involved. So I think identifying brings up resistance. There are those who don't want to say they had a female or a male past, and from that point on and deciding that, you know, they're going to transition to, they're going to go stealth. You know, it's history. I think personal history is a very delicate thing. But I try to remember that even though history is delicate, that is what has made me what I am today. There are just certain things I can't deny. There are certain things that my parents won't let me deny, you know, and they're just, damn, there are some funny things that happen to, you know, a guy who had a girl childhood. Like, that's just, it's fascinating to me that a man would know what it was like to have a period, what it's like to have cramps, what it is to like have female problems. But at the same time, the way they move forward in life is totally different than how they were living their past. Now we're going to do the real interview.